You generally thought of yourself like as a sadomasochist, so pain wasn't like a big scary thing for you
No.
before you got into this. So is that like, how did that seem attractive to you? Maybe is a good question.
I wasn't really thinking of it in a sadomasochist or sexual way at all. I was thinking of it more like for art. This will be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, and it doesn't bother me to do it.
Yeah,
so.
and it doesn't bother me to do it.
And it like really is like a mind freak for people to watch. So
yeah, but I'm not like I like recreational fet stuff, but I'm not like stapling myself for recreation
on the daily.
No, even like the practicing, I feel like I was really cowardice about it. Like I'd booked it for a show because I was like, this will be a great Valentine's Day show, and then I just like sat there at home with this staple gun being like, you need to do this before you take it on stage.
Yeah, you need to try
do
this at least once.
I'd be like, maybe not today, and I'm like, do it the next day. And I'm just sitting in my basement feeling like a really weird person, just holding it being like, do it, maybe a shot, maybe. I'm like, no, it's morning, like just do it.
Is a question I can ask about like safety as to like infections and stuff.
Sure.
Like I feel like for even people at home, like it may not be the best thing to just tell people to go staple themselves and stick things in.
No. I mean, like with the piercing stuff, we always had gloves and stuff, and I don't always wear gloves when I'm doing the stapling stuff.
Is it
but
like is the thing sanitized that you're like? It's,
like I wipe.
Or should it be?
No,
or,
like
I don't know.
Like, I do a wipe down before and after
on yourself.
Yeah. I could do it safer. I could do it safer.
I could probably do it.
Yeah. No. For sure.
I love that. Because when I think a couple of people were like, aren't like a staples in a staple gun, aren't they just like dirty? Like,
well, I mean, it's not the old staple gun that I went and got from like, somebody's basement. Like I bought this staple gun only for Sideshow.
Yes, it's bought new.
It's in my Sideshow like stuff. It's like,
it's not your dad's.
No, I'm not like putting stuff
garage.
up on the wall with it. Like I'm not.
Yeah, you're dedicated.
Yeah, no, I have like a great tool collection, and they're only for Sideshow.
Yeah, even like the nails because you'll do the thing where you kind of hammer the nail in your nasal cavity, right?
I like to keep those clean and separate also.
Do you do a neti pot after to clean out that nasal cavity?
Nah.
Is your tetanus up to date?
Yes.
So let's talk about clown. The two of you are in the clown troupe, Clowns Kill Empires. Tell us a little bit about that clown troupe and maybe where your origins for like doing clown started.
Okay, so the origin of the troupe was this interesting. Okay, we have to segue. So my interest in clown, we'll start from there. It's been very widespread my entire life. I've just sort of always been around clowns. Like when I was a kid, my uncle and my grandfather were Shriners clowns and traveling circuses and stuff like that. And then when I got older, when I was studying performance, I discovered that like theatrical clowning as performance theory was a thing. Yeah. So I went and did that, and then I came back, started getting into like theatrical clowning as well as clowning and burlesque, as well as like family entertaining, and discovering those are all like wildly different things that like
within the clown umbrella.
Yeah, it turns out the clown umbrella is really big, and a lot of them don't like each other.
They're cliquey.
And a lot of that,
cliquey
it's
clowns.
super cliquey, and a lot of that is like, oh, if we only got to know each other. Like, so a couple years ago, I had some family entertainers in America were attacking myself and another performer here online over
clowns attacking other clowns.
Yeah, it was really weird.
That is
like,
so funny.
We saw like this really racist costume online, and we were like, "Hey, like maybe you shouldn't do that. Don't be racist." And then they were like, "Internet. Nobody wins in the internet.
No,
if we know one thing." And so I was like, "I am scared. People are like attacking me in the internet. What do I do?" So I reached out in a Facebook thread to every femme-identifying clown I could find, and was just sort of like, "Okay, here is this problem with general clowns not acting like clowns and being really terrible to each other. And so it started as just sort of a discussion group for like, what can we do using positive aspects of clowning technique to improve society in general, and to sort of branch outside of that.
On the surface, that's very funny. Clowns getting in fights with other clowns on the internet.
It's ridiculous.
I understand it's a real issue, but also that's hilarious.
It's always one of those things, like when you catch them online, they're like horrifying to read, but then when you're talking about them in social situations,
it's a clown.
It sounds ridiculous. I fully understand that, like, the problems in my life sound absolutely ridiculous because they're usually about angry clowns or like mimes yelling.
I love it.
And then so from there it sort of graduated just from, so it's a collective in this thread of femme-identifying clowns that are around the world, that are just sort of like, yes, we believe in these things, we share similar ideals, we would all love to work with each other someday. But when you're spread out around the world, it's hard to get stuff done. So I was really lucky when Pickles came back to Toronto about a year and a half ago.
From freaky Winnipeg?
From freaky Vancouver and San Francisco.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're both traveler types, so it's just kind of interesting that we've both just sort of ended up here, and then Pickles reached out to me to just create content together, and so we decided it would be a really good opportunity for us to take Clowns Kill Empires off the internet and into real life and
IRL it.
To IRL it.
So what are generally types of things you do as a clown troupe and a clown duo?
Well, I mean,
what type of clown, I guess?
I feel like when it started, because we were like the group, it was like a thread on, when it was a thread on the internet, we were talking a lot about like consent stuff and like gender things, and there was like a lot of social justice stuff and things, and so I feel like we wanted to take that and put that into our clowning.
Very nice. How do you get across a notion of consent through clown?
Well, like one of the original ideas we talked about in the thread, and I'd still really love to make this happen, it's just needing capital to start up, was someone had this brilliant idea, is the amount of street harassment that you see, or because a lot of us work in like club environments, just a lot of the like nightmarish stuff that you see when you're working in cabarets and clubs, where if we could equip every clown with a little like clown squeaker. And so that way, like when you see something that is not as it should be, if you just start squeaking your little squeaker and notifying the offending party. And a lot of that is like, I was sort of playing with the idea that
already I can
have to be,
I can see the sketch in my head like formed with
that.
That
is like making
now.
A situation absurd. It's just sort of a way for us, because a lot of us are smaller human beings and not necessarily, so it's just to sort of like minimize to maximize like safety for all parties involved, as if we to make this scenario ridiculous, if we try, as we're trying to make sure people are safe, it's just sort of our own self-protection as well as the people around us.
That reminds me of like sometimes in kink play, I think I've touched on this on the podcast kind of recently, but I'll just say it quickly. Like when a person, say in a scene, in a BSDM or a kink scene, are not able to safe word because their mouth is occupied by whatever reason. A popular thing is like a hand signal or carry a squeaky toy.
Yes, exactly.
One squeak is like is red or whatever, and two squeaks is yellow. Like back off from, slow down a little bit. So that's very good.
But we had this idea where it's just like, if we had the money and to just get a bunch of squeakers and put little cards in with the message, we would distribute them. We just don't have the capital.
I love that idea of like citywide female identifying people having squeakers on them.
Because there was a group in that viral video from a couple years ago. It was a group in South America, I believe, that was fighting street harassment with confetti guns.
Nice.
Like I remember that cropped up like right after we had this conversation.
Yeah,
we're like, it's amazing. Like a lot of people are on the same page in terms of what can we do to improve society without. But it's in terms of fighting harm with like ridiculousness is this interesting faction that some people are working towards.
I love it. I feel like we're about time to take a break. Let's do a little bit of a break in which I'm going to talk about some of our sponsors, and then maybe we can get into some fun things like the gender conversation.
The
gender. Because I feel like it's a meaty one, and I'd like to spend a lot of time on it. Yeah. So maybe we can do that in the second half. In the meantime, I want to tell everybody about. Let's start with Oasis Aqua Lounge. Are you guys familiar?
We are.
I work there.
I know. You're like, Oasis who?
We're
Never
performing
I'm
there
here.
this
I'm here. Yeah, I'm performing there this Friday. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. We're all familiar. But are you familiar? Oasis Russell, I'm looking at the technician. Just kidding. For everyone at home that's listening, Oasis Aqua Lounge is a super awesome sex positive sex club that's located here in Toronto at 231 Mutual Street. It is an extremely inclusive and diverse venue, welcoming all people of all genders and all sexual identities. They're super shame-free when it comes to all types of pleasure and play. And it's also just like a community hub here in Toronto for all sex-positive folks, be it businesses, entertainers, and educators, sex educators as well, which happens a lot there. So you can go to oasisaqualounge.com to find out more about Oasis Aqua Lounge. Secondly, I want to talk about Come As You Are. Have you guys heard of the sex shop Come As You Are? Come As You Are is a Toronto-based sex shop that is located online at comeasyouare.com. They are a feminist and anti-capitalist sex shop, and they want to give you the best products at the lowest price possible. And I have a coupon code because they want to prove that to you. They're going to give you a 15% discount with the coupon code BEDPOST, which is BEDPOST, the period, not period. Just end of my sentence. And one of the fantastic companies that is stocked on comeasyouare.com brings me to my third sponsor, Unicorn Collaborators. I think we were talking a little bit about Unicorn Collaborators beforehand. And also, can you see this gorgeous metallic bracelet?
So
and
sparkly.
I'm getting so good at demoing this bracelet. Let's see. I need two. Yes. Oh, yes. Check it out. So we've got, you can wear it as a bracelet, very fashion, like I was doing earlier. And then if you put your hands through the middle there and kind of fold open that second cuff. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, these might be a little small for you. And then needs lube. I won't do it up because this is not your size. Oh, I could get there maybe. But as we can see, it's also a pair of handcuffs, which is absolutely fantastic. I release you. And what's fantastic about Unicorn Collaborators, they're made by two queer unicorns that have been doing this here in Toronto for about 5 years now. When we're saying this is not necessarily Imogen's size, well, Unicorn Collaborators can help because they do things, they're a very body positive brand, and they make all their products in a wide variety of sizes, like so many different sizes. So the product you're getting will either be super adjustable, or you can actually get the perfect sized item for you. And they're also really happy to do custom pieces as well. So if they happen to not have your size, they'll make it for you. And they're always interested in like creative collaborations for kind of new ideas and things as well. And to get a hold of them, you can email them at unicorncollaborators@gmail.com. Also, if you follow them on media, social media, I believe it's called nowadays, you can DM them. You can DM them for inquiries as well.